Fight fans. This is Kurt O'Ville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I'm live again. Bryce Productions. Hello, hello, and hello. We got to discuss this, man. This is a brewing, trending topic concerning Goldenboy, Matchroom, Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, Boots Ennis, Victor Ortiz. And, you know, I've been hearing back and forth stuff. I've heard the interviews from both Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn, and we're going to get to that in this live stream. Card Kaz Dry 9286 high bars. Memorial Gardens 1664. British UK in the building. This guy is always here when I come. This red damn Tesla. He's always doing the same thing. Bill Keaveney, 1526. Bill knows boxing. Let's go, champ. Let's get it. You guys hit that like button. Hit the like button because we got a lot to discuss concerning these two successful promoters. One from the USA and the other from the UK. One promotes Victor Ortiz and the other, right? Boots Ennis. South Africa in the building. Counterpunch to you, brother. And, you know, I've heard these two guys talk, and I've heard Eddie Hearn say, you know, like, hey, I'm desperate to make this fight. And, you know, in fact, let's start with the first comment, okay? And these comments, mind you, to give you guys a whole backstory, Goldenboy and Matchroom were on the business table, in the same room, at the same time, making the deal for Boots Ennis versus Victor Ortiz, which is a big fight, I might add. You know, it's the biggest fight at 154 pounds. Has it been in a long time? That's the biggest fight that we've seen in a long time at 154. Because remember, 154 was brewing. You had Boachuk, you had Madrimov, you know, you had Ortiz. Boots Ennis supposed to came, but he stayed for some weird reason after fighting Karen, right, for the second time, and really having a kind of flat performance. And Karen really showed up and showed out, but he still lost. But then, you know, you have Mutataliev, you know, Kelly's there. You have a lot of guys there now. You know, of course you have Fondura, then Errol Spence. You know, Terrence Crawford was there for a while, right? So yeah, the whole thing was booming because nobody knew how long Terrence Crawford was going to stay at 154. So for a while, 154 was the new 147 because 147 now is kind of flat, isn't it? It's flat. Brian Norman has been beaten by Devin Haney. Devin Haney's there, and he's a belt holder. You have some guys there, but really, who are they, to be fair? Is Oscar successful outside America, though? He's not. He's not. He's successful in the Americas, and he was a lot more successful years ago. He's been a while. He's been around for a while. Okay, and we'll talk about that in its entirety. But these guys got together, okay? And it's supposed to have been a 50-50 deal with the winner getting the additional 5%. So it would have been 55-45, right? So to the winner. To the winner. So that meant you had to win for it to be any difference. That's fair. You can't get any fairer than that. And that shows confidence. It shows faith. It shows trust. It shows justice. It shows something to fight towards. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not something flat. It's not something set. It's not a flat fee, flat rate, nothing, none of that. You're both getting about the same, if not the same. So in other words, people, if it was a draw, they would be getting the same, right? All that took place. All that All that took place until they left. When they left, the whole scenario changed. Then you heard Oscar De La Hoya saying some stuff about, I'm just going to let you listen to it. I got to find it. Should have already had it ready. And mind you guys that I have no internet. My internet is out. Look at that. It's out. None of that. It's just Wi-Fi. Verizon has a nationwide outage. If you guys don't know, if you guys in the States and have Verizon, you'll know, but more than likely you won't. Good for you. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna look it up, and I'm going to let you guys hear it. Okay, can you guys hear me now? All right, cool. We're back on, I think. All right, so you let Oscar De La Hoya, where was I? Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, Goldenboy, all DAZN. All of these guys are under the same network. So this shit should work. It should be probably the easiest matchups in history, other than Queensberry now, because we've already broke that barrier, right? Goldenboy and Matchroom should be like first cousins when it comes to making fights. It should never be this hard for any of these guys to get anything done. I know they take cheap shots at each other because, you know, Oscar De La Hoya, I think, let's be real, Oscar is a guy that he's had his ups and downs. He's been around longer than Eddie, but he's not as big as Eddie. And for anybody to challenge someone's attempt or success in the territory that they live in, it's a dead giveaway. You guys remember Oscar? Oscar was pretty much not really even warning Eddie. He was trying to like deter Eddie from coming over to the States. Eddie, stay in the UK. Don't come over here. This is my territory. This is my turf. You remember? You remember Oscar? And then it was almost like damn near you could have heard him say, please, like Andy Ruiz at the end. All right, because the way he was talking, and I'm like, why are you hating on Eddie if you got your shit together over there? You know what I mean? That's like me worried about views because I see another channel that's getting views. So I'm talking shit about that channel because they're having views, and my channel or is either no longer having views or I'm having a problem getting views. That's how Oscar De La Hoya was attacking Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn is like, you know, he's a guy that gets in where he fits in, obviously. He's had his own ups and downs. He's been in the game long enough to understand that they're going to have dips, increases, soars, you know, no se dives, right? They're going to have those in the business, just based on fighters and managers that consult with their fighters that want the best for their fighters and including themselves. And, you know, they may move around. They, you know, when the contract's up, they're like, hey, you know what, let's go over here to Top Rank and see what Top Rank has to offer. So a lot of things change in the sport. But Oscar De La Hoya doing what he did with Eddie Hearn with the whole we agree to the 50-50 deal, it was chicken shit because he could have said that then. He did not. They waited until they left with the assumption that the fight will be made and the fight is signed, sealed, delivered, but it wasn't signed, sealed, and it damn sure ain't delivered. So that's what they did. They left the negotiation table, went home, and then started emailing a bunch of demands. Oh, we want 60-40. We want 60-40 with the upside of 5. See, you don't ask for that type of money unless you weren't sure that your fighter was going to win. See, and I think what Oscar's doing, he's trying to bluff. He's trying to call the bluff of Eddie because Eddie says, I'm very desperate to have this fight. Oscar's saying, well, how desperate are you? You know, That's what he's doing. He's like, okay, are you desperate enough to take 40% to our 60%? Which really, if Boots beats Virgil, okay, that'll turn into 45-60, really. Well, no, it would be 45-55 anyway, which I don't really see. Oscar's asking for that money. He's just probably asking for just enough money to get out of the fight. You don't mention all the other stuff that you have to offer unless you had a mind to go there. Especially the way, this is my final offer. It's final. See him saying that type of shit, people? What that means is, cold. What that means is he's gonna go that route anyway. You know, that 60 doesn't matter. You know, it's the same. All Eddie has to do to find out Oscar De La Hoya is bluffing or not, just agree to the shit. If he's that desperate, in all pragmaticness, if he's that desperate to make the fight, give 60 to Virgil, and you guys take 40, which will be 45, because Boots more than likely will beat Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz likes the idea of walking his fighters down. You can't do that shit with Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis, first of all, he's too big, and you're not going to push him back with your combinations. He may hit Boots, but I think it depends on how Boots reacts to his punches. But that's all in fight study. This is the negotiation table, so we really even shouldn't be talking about this type of shit right now. Mama Luke, hello Kurt. Now I can see you and hear you. Good, good. I had to put the windows down. I think the windows had something to do with the frequency of the Wi-Fi. Because when they were up, you know, we were having issues. J8. What's good, Kurt? How's it going, brother? It's going great. It's just a little chilly today, which is good because it's still a beautiful day. Sun shining and all that. It could be a little warmer, but if it was warmer, I'd get worried again. You know, like what's going on with our, you know, atmosphere, right? Kurt, I'm an alcoholic. What's that? What's SIKH? What's that? But you're an alcoholic. Yeah, man, that's a man. You need to get off sauce, man. I think it's an Indian religion. Oh, okay. Is it? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that. Um, is Oscar successful outside? Okay, we already got those part. Crazy that Wilder is legit gonna get the Usyk fight. Well, if he doesn't mess it up, I mean, it's pretty much handed to Wilder on a platter. So I mean, I hope he does. I hope he's smart enough to do that. I don't think he's stupid enough to turn down another fight, because most importantly, I think this will happen because he doesn't have other influences such as Al Heyman, you know, distracting it because it wasn't a show that he wanted the network to be on. Al Heyman knew what he was doing. Al Heyman, he takes care of his fighters, but he's a company man first and then a businessman second, you know? So, yeah, Al Heyman, he didn't want that fight because it wasn't on pay-per-view, or should I say, I can't say pay-per-view because the Zone could have put it on pay-per-view, though. So they could have negotiated more with that, you know, especially with the pay-per-view numbers. But they were doing flat fees back in those days because that was the model back then. It should have stayed the model back then, like it, you know, like it was started with. But nonetheless, he doesn't have Al Heyman to distract him or to talk him out of a good deal no more. He's doing everything on his own because, you know, he has kids to feed. He has, what, 7, 8 kids? That dude was busting some hot ejaculate, people. He was not playing around having those children. And you got to pay for those children. And if you don't, Ibobresi. Kurt, Ishmael, Adami, and Adami brothers are very good heavyweights that are turning up. Kurt Blessings, I know it's early, but 2 weeks to Lopez versus Stevenson. Can you give us a little preview of what you thinking before your tell of the tape? Technical, technical, technical. The technical in that fight will beat the physical in that fight. I'm going to leave it at that. You know, I will fill you guys in as time permits when I do that, which will probably be next week. I'll break that fight down because I want to take time. I'll have some time next week. I'll have some time next week to make sure that I get it done right. Gonna be a interesting fight to say the least. Tio 100%. Poteja 100% Tio. At some, I don't know, man. I mean, I looked at Tio like a Julio Cesar, no, a Hector Camacho Sr. reborn. He's a reincarnated him, but I think he's a lot better than Hector Camacho. Hector Camacho fought like he was scared. He fought like a southpaw Devin Haney. You know what I mean? I couldn't stand the way Hector fought, but I disliked that first. I like the way Tio fights. I like the way he fights. I just don't care for him personally. Like I don't care for Lennox Lewis, but I respect the man. As far as boxing ability, I respect Tio as far as boxing ability. I don't care for what the things that he says and maybe the way he thinks. But I was Team Tio for a while, man. So it is what it is with that. Benavidez, pound for pound, number one. No. He can't be over Usyk based on his resume. See, for you guys to make him number one, that's like saying, well, he's number one based on nothing that he's done. You don't beat Anthony Yarde to become the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. You just don't do that because Anthony Yarde wasn't there. Anthony Yarde, and most importantly, wasn't a cash cow. You know what I mean? David Benavidez would have to beat someone like Bivol or Artur to be considered in that run-up anyway. But he hasn't done any of those things because he hasn't made those challenges yet. Kurt, what did Lennox Lewis do? I mean, what did he do? Like to me? Lennox Lewis, we went on a little Twitter war back in 2018, I think it was. Me and Lennox Lewis went toe-to-toe on the internet. I would like to spar Lennox Lewis. I'm dead serious. I would like to spar him. I don't want to fight him. I wouldn't want him to get in a physical outside the ring street fight altercation with me. I wouldn't want that because it's a lose-lose. Lennox Lewis catches me, hits me with that straight right, busts all my shit open. My beautiful Ali nose is busted. He'll fuck all that up. He'll make my nose look like his. Everybody know that Lennox Lewis got a nose like someone that drew his nose or like somebody that hit him. And it's I didn't know you had beef with Lennox online. Yeah, me and Lennox had beef. And in fact, I didn't know it was that serious until Spencer Farron told me that Lennox came out and he told Spence, and this wasn't supposed to be public. And I wouldn't be saying it unless it was already public. But he was talking to me, Spencer Farron was talking to me after I did a live stream and I was on StreamYard. And StreamYard, of course, you have to hit the, when I said peace, you know what that means. When anytime you hear me say peace, I'm out, right? So when I said peace, I guess Spence thought I'd already hit the live button. So he was talking, Lennox Lewis, he didn't like doesn't like you, bro. I could look it up. I don't know what I mean. It can't be too many because I mean I've probably I've went live with Spence maybe 4 or 5 times. So it's probably one of the early ones, probably the ones back before 2021. So anything before that, with Spence, it might have been 2020. If I had to guess, that was the year. One of the first times I had Spence on the show, because him and Tunde, they do their thing over there with Stamina for Sale, right? So he came on, and after I said peace, he let me have some knowledge about Lennox Lewis and his, you know, uh, what's the word? um, Disappointment in me. Kurt with Lennox Lewis versus Larry Holmes prime for prime fantasy matchup. Prime for prime. Okay, so we give Lennox Lewis his prime when he's that big bloke, right? Because he has every attribute I think that he's gonna have with the dreads. Big guy. He's big. He's solid. He's tall. He has the height, the speed, the skill, footwork. He has it all. He might just be. I mean, that's every heavyweight that can get hit. I mean, that's how you beat Lennox. You knock Lennox out, because if not, Lennox is going to knock you out. You know what I mean? And that's to say the least. Because one thing I noticed about Lennox could knock you out, but he could also punish you too. The dude could punish you. Lennox Lewis, he punished David Tua. It hurt my heart when he beat up David Tua. When he beat the shit out of Mike Tyson. That hurt people. That hurt my feelings. Kurt, to hurt your feelings. Shout out to J Mac in the building. Lennox, no joke, bro. He could pepper you, hurt you, punish you, then knock you out. So, yeah. When do you think versus Wilder will like? I don't know. I would give it the beginning of next month. I would give that fight being announced next month. This is what gets me though. I'm sick of, hey, this fight is looking forward or almost in, no. Let the fight get announced and let it happen. And I promise you guys, I will not make a video about it looking to be finalized. No. It's either finalized or it's not. So then we'll get the news along with everyone else. If Fury fights Fabio eventually, who you got? I still got Fury beating Fabio. I'm going to tell you why. Fabio, I don't know. Maybe Fabio's getting better. But I seen how he fought against Hooney. I just don't see Fabio being right hand like that. You're talking about a person that fought a prime Wilder. And when I mean a prime Wilder, I mean a certified dangerous punching knockout artist in Wilder. See, now it's a big question mark. We don't know if Wilder can knock people out like he claimed he can. I mean, if you couldn't knock people out when you were accustomed to knocking people out, when you used to knock people out, would you say that you can no longer knock people out? Let's be real. You wouldn't say that either. You could never say that, hey, I can't do it no more. No. They was talking ish about his trainers, instructions, and all that. But no, Tyson Fury went in there with someone like that. He was in there with that type of Wilder. He was in there with that type of danger. and he was able to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I think is better at not telegraphing the punch like Wilder. If you know Wilder's coming with it because he's gonna throw hand up, he's gonna cock back, and he's going to throw it at you, and his eyes are going to light up like that, like looking at a damn Mike Tyson punch out character or something. You know, like those punch out characters, they let you know that they're about to do something. You know, so you look for those key indicators that okay, this is about to happen. You know, when his eyes twinkle, he's gonna throw that shot at you. Well, when Wilder's eyes get big, he's gonna throw that right at you. So no, I think Tyson will be able to beat Fabio Wardley, but then it's all about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury may very well, people, go into the next fight, especially if it's someone like that. If he goes into that fight, he may go in there and get knocked out. If he's not up for it, if he's past his prime, if his party life has drowned out his professional training life to the point that he can no longer perform on that level, we'll see that real quick, real fast. Lennox Lewis almost 7 feet tall. Nah, Lennox Lewis is about 6'4", 6'5". He's about that height. But I know one thing: Tyson Fury ain't 6'9", because Tyson and Lennox look each other eye to eye. If you're 6'4" and somebody's 6'9", that won't be so. Lennox Lewis would have to look up at him if he was that height. You know, at least move his eyes up, right? I was young. I remember when Lennox Lewis beat Tyson, everybody was saying that wasn't the real Tyson. Tyson got busted up, bro. He had a bloody nose, 2 cut eyes on both sides. Crazy. But anyway, Tyson Fury, okay. So is Lennox Lewis. Fabio gets outboxed every fight, but seems to find a knockout shot. Well, I do think that Tyson Fury, based on what we've seen, if he can perform like he used to, or even the guy that fought Usyk, if we can get that guy, we may have a win. But Tyson may get too greedy. He may be trying to do too much. And Fabio Wardley knows how to throw that right hand. Here's the problem, though. Ben Davison training Fabio Wardley for his best friend. That's going to be something very interesting, right? Bryce Productions. I see Usyk as the bad guy of boxing because he's beaten everyone. I like Fury AJ. I don't believe that at all. I don't think he's beaten everyone. You can't say he's beaten everyone. You can say that Muhammad Ali has beaten everyone. And even when big guys like Canelo Alvarez has fought damn near everyone, they still say and bitch about David Benavidez, don't they? So no, I think we should give the same energy to Usyk as we do Canelo, because I mean Canelo said the same thing. I can do whatever I want. He said that because he was boasting. He was boasting that he can do what he wants because he's a cash cow. He holds the sport of boxing on his back, and I'll be damned, I'm not going to let one fighter tell me where and who to fight and when. You know what I mean? He's not doing that. Period. Period. Usyk got to fight Caballero. That will be interesting. Interesting. Usyk is a genius at his craft. He's very good at what he does. He's very good at what he does. David Benavidez, pound for pound number one. Bring crawfish. Bring crawfish. Disrespectful. Rolly, Tank, Garcia. They have a great group. We need them all to fight. Cruz, Loma, Camboso, such action. So much action I need to see. Well, we got T.O. versus Stevenson. How about that? Usyk will beat Wilder. I'm hoping Joseph Parker or Fabio Wardley beats Usyk to defeat the bad guy. I don't look at Wilder as a bad guy. I look at Wilder as a misguided, delusional, naive asshole. That's what I look at him. You can be a delusional. Don't make you a bad guy. I just think it makes you think something is what it's not. He's delusional. He thought that, but he was also naive, and that's what actually naive element of Deontay Wilder made me feel sorry for him. Because I mean, sometimes I've known people that have just been with people that were totally wrong for him, but you can't say anything concerning that. They'll fight you first if you say anything about it. If you came back and told Young Wilder before they fell out, your girl she gonna take over $400,000 of money. She gonna watch you lose, and the more you lose, the more she's gonna steal. That man will slap you where you stand and leave you where he found you. That's what Wilder would do if you come talking that shit to Wilder at that time. Now every podcast he's on, he can't wait to talk shit about his ex. She stole from me over $400,000. Last time the group fought, it was a big letdown. Wilder has that one time. Kurt, George Foreman was robbed in the Shannon Briggs fight. Yeah, he was. But I mean, that was a promotional win for Cannon. Shannon the Cannon was young. They didn't want that old guy because he already did something that he didn't even supposed to do. He didn't supposed to beat Michael Moore. Michael Moore was supposed to get right back in there with Holyfield, but he did not. He fought George Foreman and got knocked out for it, and by him. Wilder has that one time. Usyk's legs have gone, Kurt. Nah, they ain't gone. But he wasn't moving like he ain't been moving like look. Let's see Usyk versus Ajit Caballero. Let's see it. Let's see what happens based on the age, based on what we saw Usyk and how he fought last time. Let's look at the way he fought last time. Did he fight like he's a damn cat? No, he fought like he was a regular heavyweight that's aging like most people are. There, I said it. I don't know. I mean, maybe Foreman would have, if Lewis would have kept committing, because Foreman had terrible, terrible defense. So, nah. He looked like a mummy. That mummy. That's why Ali called him a mummy. You look like a mummy, George. That's all you got, George. Ali, boombaye. Is there any fighter that you can beat Usyk or has a good chin? Well, here's the thing. Usyk fighting Ajit Caballero is very interesting based on many factors. I hope it's in Saudi Arabia. If they fight, I hope it's in Saudi Arabia. I do not want it to be in the fucking UK. Or it could be over in the States. But I think what Usyk's doing, I think he's trying to find a promoter to promote his fights in America. He's looking for that. He's looking for someone that'll put on that fight in America so he can conquer the American market. That would be dope. Frank Sanchez, Richard Torres, Jared Anderson, Jarrell Miller, Deontay Wilder. It's a lot of fights that he could get made over in the States. Storyline: Usyk beats Wilder, which will mean Usyk has beaten all three kings of boxing. Then Joseph Parker or Fabio Wardley beats Usyk. Parker beating Usyk would be cooler than because I like Parker. Parker won't beat Usyk. Parker will have his moments, but he won't beat Usyk. The only way he beats Usyk is he catches him with a shot that Usyk does not see, probably a right hand, and knocking out Usyk. The only problem is Usyk hasn't deemed to be a pussy, a cream puff, a chinny bastard, any of those things. He's a tough bloke, and he's from the Ukraine. Why are you on your phone and driving? I'm not driving. Exactly, Kurt. You took the words out of my mouth. No, I don't. I don't believe that Usyk's fought everyone. No, he fought a lot of people, or he fought people that. See, my thing is, a lot of casuals think all you got to do is beat one person. One person is the person that's going to catapult you to the level of he's the best of all time. Do you guys understand? You know what I've noticed about people? I've noticed people love Alexander Usyk, but they absolutely hate Tyson Fury. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Tyson Fury now is a because Tyson Fury got beat by Usyk, and then Usyk admitted Tyson Fury was his best opponent. And if that's the case, it's like, okay, well, if you agree that that's your best opponent, why are you shitting on him so? He's like damn near like second in command. Loses to someone else. So why are they giving it such a they're giving Tyson a bad time or a hard time, like, hey, yeah, he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. And guess what? Since he's the bad guy, we're just going to label him bad and label Usyk the best ever. But, like, he had to be the best ever based on what he's done, right? What do you think? A win over Dubois or a win over Tyson was more impressive? It was Tyson Fury. But why? Because Tyson Fury was the former WBC heavyweight champion, and he had it for 4.5 years. He said, Usyk ain't nothing. Okay. Now, I wouldn't dare say some silly shit like that. I wrestled AJ. I beat him pretty easy. That's wrestling, though. Boxing is way different. You're right, but nowadays, boxers fighting only once a year. This is embarrassing. Look, if they're making that money to do that shit all year long, they make 500 grand, they take home 250 grand. That shit'll last you for a year. Unless you got a gold digger that likes to steal or a thief, because that could happen. You know, these guys got a huge amount of cash in their safe that's behind the front painting that's there. You know, nah. Somebody find out where that shit is, they will rob you. Those broads are the reinas, or the queen of burglary. It's so crazy. I've met some of the most beautiful women I've ever met, and then the crazy thing about half of them, they will steal your shit. Now, I've met beautiful, nice girls and everything that would never do anything like that. But they are the ones that you look at and you're like, damn, you know, makes you ugly in the face looking at that beauty, right? And they will rob you blind. That's what happened, to tie it back all in, to Deontay Wilder. Wilder got done dirty by his fiance. Well, I mean, he bought her a ring. He got businesses ready for her. He bought her the equipment. He got her set up in a lot of different other things. He made a platform for her with his money, and she viewed him as no longer valid to take care of her, to be with her. So her sneaky, crooked ass went and had this police. She was already planning that. She just wanted to win. She waited right until he gets knocked out to put that shit, to send that shit in. She knew what she was doing. Because if she really felt that way, why would you wait on something that you've already written up against a person that was destroying you, abusing you, and all these other things to you? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't wait. If you're going to sign something, you take your ass to the library, you type it out, and you take it to the fucking police station. Then you file your request for a restraining order. You do that then when it happened, not fucking years later. Then you're bringing all this shit up against someone, tally taking on the shitty things that he did, you cunt. What's wrong with you? That's exactly what happened. If someone does something to you, you don't make up a list of shit that that person did unless you were going to hold it and use it later on. And that's exactly what she did. But it's all in the plan. Like, let me get his fucking money. Let me get half of his shit. But then he can't see me to, yeah. Kurt, what about Deontay Wilder versus Martin Bacali now? I think that would be bad for Wilder. I think that shit will end the same way that him fighting Zhang would be. So yeah, I mean, but Wilder should get that fight, man. Back to Oscar De La Hoya though. Oscar De La Hoya is ducking, man. He's ducking. He doesn't want that fight. He wants it later on because this is something this is something that Oscar's known for. Oscar is notorious for bullshitting fights along and waiting them out. He did the same thing with Canelo and Triple G. He waited till Triple G got beatable or low hanging enough for Canelo to fight him, because Canelo was one hell of a fighter, right? But then people wanted to see how that fight will turn out. You got the 660 pound middleweight champion fighting a guy that has made his own weight class because of his star power. Kurt, Jai Pataya versus David Benavidez 2026. I doubt it. I doubt that. That's bullshit. He ain't fighting Jai Pataya in this year. He's not going to fight Jai Pataya because he's going to run, like he's already said. He's made it clear, and it's clever. Like, yo, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fight at cruiserweight, and then when I beat Zerto, I'm going to immediately leave. So he may go back to 175 and not fight Artur at all. And at that point, cut him off. Stop promoting David Benavidez, blast David Benavidez, put him on Front Street, sign a petition not to support him or his fights because he's ducking and he's bullshitting and he's destroying the sport of boxing. If he does that, if he goes down there and he fights anyone else, especially except the guy that called him out, because it's a tragedy, because Artur he's wanting to fight these dudes while he still has time to. You give it 2 or 3 years, David Benavidez, he's a sure winner to beat Artur, because it's going to be a tough fight anyway for both fighters, because David's no bitch. He's a hell of a fighter. But he's also fighting someone he's never been in the ring with before. He's never been in a situation with a guy that can hit harder than him or a guy that, is dangerous like him. He's never been in there with that type of pressure or that type of power being landed upon him. And the way that he blocks, yeah, bad. Because all you're really doing, you're blocking his punches with your gloves. And that's still inflicting pain. That's still giving him swells. Look at Dimitri Bivol. And if the worst thing could happen to David if he is the face of boxing. Barry, if he is regarded or viewed as the new face of boxing, he'll never fight anybody that we want him to fight, and people will start disliking him like we did Canelo Alvarez. Period. Can you make an impression for Oscar De La Hoya telling Canelo Alvarez to wait for a Triple G to age? Yeah, when you donate. Gotta donate. Impersonations have become valuable and they become a household name. Donate and you will get that impersonation in its entirety, because that actually happened. Oscar De La Hoya came to Canelo. Benavidez, pound for pound number 1. Even Tyson said it. Mike Tyson? I mean, Mike Tyson named him the Mexican Monster. Why wouldn't he say it? He's gave David Benavidez a nickname, and David uses it. I'm a Mexican monster now. That's what everybody says. Kurt, I always wanted to see Lennox Lewis versus Riddick Bowe, but it didn't happen. What a shame. Yeah, what a shame. Kurt, who do you think would win? Caballo versus Dubois. I picked Dubois. I picked Caballo. But I think it's going to be a grueling fight because one thing about Daniel, I think this will be the first fight Daniel actually falls based on legitimate pressure and hard punching. Force. I think he beats Dubois. And here's the thing. He beats Dubois, but Dubois will also fight him, and then because he will be able to hit Aguet Caballo. He'll hit Aguet Caballo, and he's going to take it to Caballo, and Caballo's going to take it back to him. I see that fight like Dan. I wouldn't miss that fight for the world. Wilder should fight Chisora in London. He was going to fight Chisora, but Usyk called, so he bounced, and everybody understood. Nobody said shit because you're supposed to. You got the unified heavyweight champion of the world calling you out for a fight. You think you're going to fight someone that may or may not beat you the F up? Caballo wants Triple D and Wardley. Caballo wants Wardley or Usyk. Shakur, China Man, and Crawford are proud pound for pound. He said China Man. He's Japanese, man. But no, I think that Oscar De La Hoya is going to go elsewhere. He did a chicken shit move. And because he has options, the option to fight Boots Ennis won't be on the table. They made that deal to see how desperate Eddie is, but I think they already got in their mind Eddie ain't budging, so the fight ain't happening. That's it. I have more people that Victor Ortiz can fight. You know? Curtis, Usyk versus Wilder official. It's not. Skrilla, hey, chicken chops. But no, seriously. Yeah. That was some fishnet active activities, ducking Boots. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, because Boots can take it, you know. It's just the thing is you can only use your chin for so long until someone hits it and make you understand that you're not invincible. That's the only thing. So, but no, I think if I had to choose, Oscar don't want to fight. He's trying to prolong the fight. He wants Boots Ennis to go in there with some tough guys. Hopefully he'll lose so they don't have to worry about revisiting the idea based on what they've already said they wanted to do or claimed to do. So no, I don't think that's the case at all. But no, Oscar De La Hoya, he's tripping. He doesn't like Eddie Hearn because merging with Eddie Hearn with this fight deal, it'll make him also look bad because he already knows Eddie's the biggest star. And to see Eddie's talent beat his talent, that's another slap in the damn face, isn't it? It is. I think Oscar is bullshitting. Eddie wants it. And, you know, I think that I don't know what'll happen after this. I think Virgil will end up fighting someone like Fondora, which I fancy that fight too, so why not? But yeah, I think some avoidance is going on by team Oscar, and I think Oscar, you know, is doing what he does, and I think he's doing it based on what he's always done. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna jump off here. It's getting cold. You guys be blessed, stay safe, and everyone has been counterpunch. Peace.